The concept of aging is changing, in that being older is often now considered to be a time for rejuvenation. If one is to look up that word rejuvenation, it means to have a renewed life, time to process, new energy and add more vigor to something one values. But not everyone is so convinced of that. And getting older is seen as a time of debilitation instead. That's why every month we like to invite a guest to share with us their positive personal story about their journey to being older. Hearing of another person's experience helps us strengthen, challenge or change our perceptions, opinions and values. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ironing Out the Wrinkles. I'm your host, Kate Shaw.
And I'm your other host, Ros McMaster. Together we're taking the age out of ageism, helping men and women embrace life after 50 with less fear. Joining us with her personal story today is our guest, Marg Brown. Aged 73 years, Marg is proof that the researchers got it right. Since retiring from a much-loved position as a community palliative care nurse, Marg and her husband of 45 years have been enjoying fantastic adventures travelling the world each year. Marg says life is a book. If you do not travel, you only read one page.
Marg, hello and welcome. We are so delighted to have you as our guest today.
Hi ladies, nice to meet and speak with both of you.
Marg, you mentioned that you worked as a palliative care nurse. How and why did you reach the decision to retire from nursing? And did you have a plan in place for how you'd spend your days in retirement?
Yes, it was something that I think there were changes happening within the service I was working for. And I just felt it was time to perhaps retire and start enjoying life with Ross before illness started to set in. I was in a management position as the nurse manager for a while, and it certainly wasn't for me. And there was a lot of encouragement to head down that field. And I'm a nurse, I'm not a manager. And I just felt for the time, it didn't burn me out, but it was starting to head that way. So I thought, right, let's just leave on a high when I really felt a bit sad about leaving, but I've got some arthritis starting, then in my fingers that have slowly got worse. And I think it would have been difficult to continue working. So no, I made that decision and left. I dropped to part-time first.
Oh, yes.
Slowly eased into it.
Yeah, I remember you when I first met you many years ago that you told me stories about palliative care and you absolutely loved it, didn't you?
Oh, I did. It was my passion. You know, I'd been nursing, I started at 17, so 40, 45 years, and the last sort of 20 of those were in palliative care, and it was a passion. I thought, this is my niche. Yep.
Yeah. What did you love about it?
Oh, I think, when you admitted someone to the service who was fearing a little bit of their illness, they were but willing to talk about dying. Not everyone did, but when they did, it was it just made the job so much easier when you could encourage them to talk about their fears, help allay the fears of dying and encourage them to live until they die. And I worked closely with the Bayside palliative team at the time, and we used to have fortnightly meetings to discuss our clients. They were so supportive. You could build up a rapport with the GPs. Some of the GPs weren't all that easy to talk to, but 80% of the time, 90% of the time, it was challenging but rewarding in so many ways. When you had someone that said, I'd like to stay at home as long as I can, Didn't always work out that way, but when it was possible for them to die at home with family, and free of as much pain as you could help them be comfortable was really good.
That's wonderful. So you would visit people in their own homes
Yes,
to
every
assist with
day
that?
I'd probably have 4 or 5. Depends. Sometimes you'd get there and you'd think you'd be there for half an hour and you had to be there for an hour and a half. But if you arrived and they were in a lot of pain, and when you left they were smiling, that was the best.
Yeah, you remind me what happened to my brother when he died about a year and a bit ago. He had palliative care nursing coming in. I'd never seen it before. It was like angels, really. Made a big difference to him to be able to pass away at home.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
Well, there was almost time for a cup of tea because sometimes it was half an hour with the patient and an hour with the family. You know, the patient was important, but the family, and I would try and even after the death, always have a bereavement visit.
Oh, that's so
And I
nice,
used to go
isn't
to
it?
the funerals as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a finishing off for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Is
know,
it?
it's
Go on,
yeah.
Mark.
Sorry,
Sorry.
no,
Yeah, a finishing off for you, which is really lovely because it's, yeah, otherwise you just see them when they've died and
mhm.
then that's it. But it continues for
And
you.
a
You
bit of a
take it home a little bit.
debriefing.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the back at the office, if you could discuss anything, any problems that happened. There was a nurse manager at one point there and it was a man, and he said, "Marg, time for coffee," and him and I just have
Oh,
a little
nice.
time where he'd just listen. Tears at times, but
Yeah.
it was
It's
good.
nice. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we're kind of
Yep.
off topic here. We were supposed to be talking about your retirement life, but palliative care is such an important
Mm.
topic, and we're sort of speaking to someone from the ground level who was involved
Yeah.
and so compassionate. There was that book that was written not so long ago, the 5 regrets of the dying or something, I think it was. Do you know of it? But there's, I've sat with 2 people who were in their dying phases, and like you said, if you could get them to talk, and this book really seemed to make it sound as though people were willing to talk about their regrets while they
Yeah.
were dying, and they're not so willing,
Well,
really.
do you
It
know,
was
it's
my
funny, we
experience.
do a lot when we start work preparing for retirement, but who prepares for dying?
Mm,
We don't, it's sort of a bit of a no-go zone to a lot of
Yeah, it's
people, and I think,
uncomfortable.
you
Yeah.
know, y- everyone everyone will be faced with that, and if we can prepare for it, even tell your family where your will is. Have you made a will? Have you? And there was one palliative lady who was about my age at the time, and one day she said, "Oh, I won't be here to see my daughters get married." And I said, "Well, why don't you write them a letter and just have a letter that they can read on that day? To have a little memory box
That's a
for
comfort.
them."
beautiful.
Yes.
What a
You
Yeah.
should
lovely
really
idea.
do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nice if you can start, well, you wouldn't sort of start preparing those things
Bit
now.
early.
No, but
It's,
even for dying of natural causes, don't
yeah.
leave
Yeah.
a will to be written when you're laying in hospital.
Well, we,
Just
we just were talking to a lawyer the other day. One of our guests was talking about wills, and I was telling the story about the solicitor was sitting next to my husband in the hospital getting his will organised before he died. So, yeah, we have a lawyer talking about how important that is. But what kind of other things did you find people were regretting in their last moments? Were they expressing any sort of regrets that they
Like
didn't
common
do,
things.
or?
Yeah.
probably things that, especially if they were younger, what they weren't having a chance to do. Um, but no, there were a few times when broken marriages, the wife would return to look after the husband, and they were divorced, but they were still good friends. And on 2 occasions, the wife returned to look after the husband, which I thought was
That's
really
lovely.
nice.
Well, that's my story too, actually.
Yeah.
We'd already been separated for a couple of years, and I ended
Yeah,
up, nursing him in the
yeah,
end. Yeah.
yeah. But if I had my nursing career all over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
That's
Wouldn't
nice.
change a thing.
Yeah, very rewarding. And so, you retired then, and it was
Yeah.
not an easy decision because you loved it, but easy because you were being moved into a role that you didn't like. So, did you have a plan in place for when you retired
Well, I
of
did
what you were going to
because
do?
there were things that, I thought, right, I would like to volunteer. I'd like to do things for me, but I didn't want to overcommit. I was very fearful of they, now I say I'm busier than ever, and it is true. When you've retired, you tend to take up things, and there was always that little voice in my head saying, careful, you don't overcommit. So when I first retired, I thought, what can I do? So I joined Meals on Wheels and thought, I did it for about 9 months and I didn't like it.
You had to give it a go, though.
It's very necessary to have people doing that. But I thought, no. So I don't know, for a few years I thought, well, I make a wish. That was another thing. I actually went to a meeting, but that didn't progress. So over the years I've joined, I learned French and just do little things like that now. I don't volunteer as such. I am a volunteer helper at Here's to Life, setting up on the day I go. But I haven't, no, I wanted to go to the gym more because I miss doing that when I was full-time working. I just wanted to be able to have coffee with friends when they rang. I missed out on open days to be able to go places that people that don't work did. But no,
Yeah,
I
you
found
also,
things just progressed into when I wasn't working. Opportunities came up, so it was a decision whether to take that opportunity or say no.
Oh, that's fabulous. And you didn't wait around for things to happen. You tried something. If you didn't like it, you moved on to something else,
yeah.
Well, I
which
did
is important.
volunteer, and COVID put a stop to it. But I sort of thought I wanted to volunteer somewhere, so I contacted the Romero Centre, the Sisters of Mercy in the city, in Brisbane, and they were looking for volunteer English teachers. And I've got quite a passion for um, people that need help, like refugees. Ross and I both were members of the Redlands for Refugees for a while. And this lady was an Afghani lady who had arrived in Australia legally on she'd been in Australia for quite a few years, but struggling with English. So I taught her English one day a week. I'd drive to her house, and
That's
I thought I
lovely.
know about teaching, but I thought, well, we'll just get children's books and conversation. And so I did that for a few years and she just rang me the other day. So we're going to catch up again.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's wonderful.
So that was the first thing I did, Meals on Wheels.
Right.
And then I went to the gym and because fitness is a big thing. I think you've just got to keep fit, physically fit and mentally, but physical keeps a lot of things at bay, I think.
Well, you can keep moving too, can't you? Like you need to be able to get up and walk around. And
Yeah.
and
Yep.
learning languages, that's certainly good for your
Well,
mental
good.
fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, as they
Yeah.
say, keeps dementia at bay.
So, I know you love traveling. You say, I know it's one of your favorite activities. What is it that you like about traveling? And has being older affected the way you travel? And what are your favorite places
When
too?
we first started to travel, I was still working and so was Ross. Both
Right.
our boys went to a private school, and when they finished their education, we thought, well, that money we've put into paying school fees, maybe we can spend on ourselves. So that's when we started to travel. But it was grassroots travel. It was a backpack, traveling with companies that had homestays. So it was carrying a pack front and back. We've done a lot of walks. We've done the Inca Trail, and so that was good in the early days in our 50s, and it's gone on to early 70s, and carrying the backpack is now, it's a pulley suitcase when we travel.
Me too.
Yeah.
But,
I was speaking to an ageism activist, and she said, it's not about denying that you're getting older. It's about being practical and wise. Like, the body does break down at a certain point and you have to adjust to that. It's about
That's right,
not
yeah.
giving in to the things that go wrong.
That's right.
So adjusting and adapting. Do you do caravanning now? Is that...
No, it's funny. We never headed out. We did have a caravan when we lived in Sydney, but we've not, no, we preferred to do the overseas, and always thought, oh, Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand, we'll do that later. So the caravan idea never happened.
Right.
But we don't sort of regret that. I think the travelling that we've done was to places now that have been hit by war that
I know.
will never be the same. Turkey, Syria, Aleppo. We had wonderful travels through Jordan and Syria well before it was destructed the way it has been.
Yeah, very sad.
And that really makes me sad to think we've had meals with families and stayed in their homes through Jordan, and they probably wouldn't even be alive now, which,
No.
yeah. So it does, it opens your mind to the way, the hardships that other countries have had and how lucky and fortunate we are. And we've been very fortunate in where we've been.
Yeah.
Has being older affected the way you travel now? Well, it has in a way. You don't do backpacks, but has it?
No. And I sort of don't look forward to the really long flights.
Okay.
It's in the point where once, I guess, we'd sit on a plane for 29 hours and think nothing of it. Now, oh, well, where's the halfway mark to have a hotel stopover? Or, and yes, it has affected in where we go and when.
Yeah. And you've got a favourite place?
We've had a lot of favourite places.
Too many.
But, both of us really enjoyed India, which surprises a lot of people. Europe, lots of.
Why India? You can't explain.
Yeah, you either love it. I can't explain. You either love it or you hate it. And I think the people.
You've been there.
The people were great. We loved the food. Very careful when we ate there, but no,
Roz has spent time there.
I mean, I'm in the category of, don't like it so much.
Oh.
So, bad memories for her though, yeah.
Oh no, not bad memories. No,
okay.
I just wouldn't have chosen to go back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you do click with certain places, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
So, and what about, mental stimulation is really important as well. And we know you were at the University of the Third Age. Is that where you went to learn your languages?
Yes, that's where I learned French. It's called Fun with French. There's quite a few languages, or one of many, many subjects, but the class I go to is called Fun with French. And it is good. There's a little bit of grammar and a bit of dictation, but on the whole, it's really good fun.
And do you do it online?
No, I go every Friday afternoon from 1 till 3.
And is it expensive?
It's just local. No, it's U3A is an annual fee. I think it's $30 I've just paid for the year.
Wow, that's good.
And they're all volunteers that teach. Leslie, our teacher, is a South African lady who speaks beautiful French. And yeah, she's very, very patient lady. We do have homework, but I try and do a bit of catch up online with Duolingo.
Oh,
If you've
yes,
heard
it's
of
good.
that.
Yeah. And why French?
Why French? Well, we have a French daughter-in-law.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
That's a good
When,
reason.
Well, they live just outside of Paris, Simon and Sophie, and we've just become grandparents. Millie is
Congratulations.
now nearly 7 months old.
Oh, wow.
So Simon and Sophie were married in Normandy,
Beautiful.
and I had just started to learn French then. So Ross gave a little speech in English and I gave the equivalent in French.
Wow, brave girl.
At that point, I had to read it. But I just started learning, and the class actually heard me say the speech, and we did a little bit of a correction of my grammar and yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
that was
it was
good.
appreciated because a lot of
Yes.
Sophie's family at the wedding didn't speak English.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I think anywhere you go, even any travellers, if you don't know the language, at least learn hello, goodbye, thank you.
They love that.
They do appreciate it.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's true.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You have
so yeah,
go on.
we
Go on.
hope to be able to speak with Millie in time to come.
Is Millie your little granddaughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she being taught English?
Well, Simon's will speak to her in English, and Sophie will speak in French.
How
Yeah.
wonderful. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great?
Wonderful,
Okay.
isn't it, to
Yeah.
grow up
Amazing.
and be bilingual? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've got nephews in Perth, and their mother was French, so they would learn French and English, and 6 months of the year would go and stay with their grandparents in France
How
to do
wonderful.
schooling over there. And yeah, so both these boys, they're twins, they speak fluent French and English.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
So my niece speaks the same, speaks
Well, you
fluent
never,
Italian.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping in time Millie might come over here and
Oh, yes, that'd be great, wouldn't it? We have
so
to go over
that's
there
my
soon.
plan. I've got to live, at least to
Oh,
have
you
it.
will. You're so fit. You have a really lovely saying, which we really like. It's not the diamond that diamonds are a girl's best friend. It's your best friends who are the diamonds. Why is friendship so important to you?
I think to have a good friend, and I've got a few very close friends that I could almost say anything to, and they'll always be honest with me. Because there are some things I think you can say to a friend that you can't always share with family, with a partner, or just, yeah, a friend. And I've got some wonderful friends, and I'd be absolutely lost without them.
Yeah, important for that sense of connection.
But not a lot, a couple that yeah, there's three other girls. Four of us have gone away for a couple of days in the last 2 years, only for short little stays. And yeah, it's a different form of fun that you can have with a couple of girls and just share a coffee. I think we debrief a lot with each other. There's subjects that you talk about at times and have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of my sister's, she gets together with her friends once a month, I think it is. And they have this rule where they're allowed to spend the first 10 minutes each talking about all their health problems.
Yep.
And then they're not allowed to mention their health for the
I
rest,
love that.
for
What a
the
good
rest of
idea.
rest of the outing.
Yeah.
Get all the health out of the way.
But would they
But
say
the
like
thing- yeah.
go on. Go
The
on.
things you talk with a girlfriend aren't always the subjects that your husband, for instance, would be interested in.
No,
Yeah.
girl
And
talk. Yeah.
sometimes an opinion from a girlfriend too is a bit different to what, you know, your husband or family are likely to say.
And also
You know,
problems. I think they're great to share problems with good friends.
oh
And like that
yes, yeah.
saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. And it
Mm.
has to be with someone you really trust.
Oh, and I know that there would be two or three that I know if ever I said anything, it would certainly not be repeated.
That's
And I
a
think
real
that
gift, isn't it?
trust is
Yes,
very important.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what other community groups do you belong to?
I'm a member of Here's to Life and I tap dance every Monday morning at 7 o'clock for an hour,
Bless.
which is a bit of an exercise routine as well, but good for the brain. A
I
lot of
love tap dancing.
the tap steps are, yeah,
So is
get
that
your
part
right and
of the
left
Here's to
brain.
Life, is it?
Is that
That
Here's to
Here's to
Life?
Life have a
Okay.
program of, well, it Dance for Life, Sing for Life, Drum for Life. But Here's to Life is the banner, and it's a program that's been going for quite a few years, self-funded. They don't get any funding from anywhere. So and there's a special program for special needs. They have a day where the special needs from the community come, and our annual concert, the proceeds to that go to special needs that are generally under the NDIS program. But
Wow.
they come and they're part of the concert once a year.
That's lovely. What about your singing? What do you do singing as well?
I do singing with them, but I've just joined for 12 weeks. Jonathan Welsh, have you heard?
I have. Yeah.
Pay It Forward.
Hmm.
He's just formed a rock choir. And
Cool.
I just went last night to the first session of that, and he's having a concert at our local RPAC in April. So there's
Oh,
170 local people that are,
Oh my
and is it
goodness!
all
Wow.
ages?
well, some of the Queen, it's just all rock.
And are they all age people in singing in it?
Yep. Yeah, there
All
wasn't
ages.
too many young ones. They're probably all over 50, maybe.
Yeah. For anyone who's listening, we're in Brisbane and Marg's in Brisbane, so these will be Brisbane community groups
Yeah,
that
but
she's referring
I'm
to.
sure they're all over the world though, if you look, don't you
And
think?
other
Yeah.
types of
Yes,
similar
yeah.
organisations.
Yeah.
But Here's to Life, I think, is fairly, I'm not sure whether that's interstate, but it's a wonderful program. And it's
Getting,
it's fun.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
You
And
sound like you're
keeps,
really enjoying life.
Yeah. And no wonder
I
you said
love
in the
it.
beginning you had to be careful that you weren't overcommitting all the time.
I
So
know. Well, it's funny when I say it was through Here's to Life singing. One of the girls mentioned she was getting it for Christmas, and she was talking about Jonathan Welsh, and I thought, gee, that sounds good. And so Ross said, yeah, go and join. Yeah, it wasn't a great deal of money, and they had a seniors rate. So off I went, and then I thought, oh dear, is this too much? And I went and said, could I get a credit? Because I'm not sure if perhaps I've overcommitted. And then when I got home, the lady in the office said, yes, we may be able to, but it never happened anyway. And then I thought, no, I want to do it.
So you
So
jumped in and took a
I'm
risk.
doing it.
I'm proud of you.
yeah, that's amazing. Did you actually have a day where you sit at home and put your feet up?
Thursday is generally the day.
Okay.
I save for appointments, doctor's appointments, and
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's the self-care day. I'm glad to hear there's some balance, because a day of sitting quietly and doing
She
nothing,
does
I
other
think, is
things too,
important
I've
to me.
heard.
I have many moments, Ros, where I grab a book and feel very guilty because I love reading and I find that relaxing.
I love
Oh,
that.
perfect then. Yeah.
I
Don't you
think,
do
oh,
water
I should
aerobics
be,
too?
yeah, I should be doing something. But
No, reading's a wonderful,
an
wonderful
hour
gift.
goes by and I think, oh, yeah, well, I better put the book down.
What's your favourite book that you like to read? What sort of books? Are they
I
memoirs
like
or novels?
autobiographies or just
Okay.
novel. Yeah. Yeah, no particular. I didn't really think I'd like sort of murder mystery type, but yeah, the odd. Yeah, I really haven't got it.
You just love
Okay.
That's
reading.
fabulous.
Yeah.
You're just loving life.
Yes.
Yeah, if I pick a book up and I can't get into it in the first couple of pages, that one gets put aside. But
Yeah. I used to go to the
library,
back page.
Oh, I go to the library and sort of read the blurb on it and think, yep, I think I'll like that one.
Yeah. No, I actually read the ending, and if the ending
I do.
sounded pretty good, then I think, okay, that'll
Oh,
get my
that's
attention.
I never do that. I want to be surprised. I read the blurb though. Yeah. Well, you don't look like you've suffered in any way by not working. In fact, like you've got a whole new, brand new, exciting, positive life now. Really inspiring.
Well,
Nothing to be
yeah,
feared.
no, I'm enjoying life. Yeah,
You're enjoying life.
I
That's
can tell.
I'm
wonderful.
enjoying life.
Yeah. Well, Marg, we've had a 93-year-old who said aging was just a continuum. Another said he didn't notice age, it just simply happened. So what's your view on getting older?
I always used to say, oh, age is only a number. I really don't think too much about it. But in all seriousness, it probably is important. And I feel it's probably a privilege because a lot of people don't make it to 70, 60 even. But now I've made it, I feel it's the lottery that I've won to reach the age I am. And I think, I don't know, wake up each day and be thankful that you've made it. And I don't think about it. There was a point in life about 50 when you'd have to tell your age. I sort of lost track of really how old I was. I was born, 1949. What's the year now? And you'd sort of do a quick, but really, yeah, it's once you do turn 70 though, I think it's a number that you do think you become in touch with your mortality on and off. But I'm thankful. I've got the health and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially, I think, when 2 years ago our son was diagnosed with cancer. He's well now. Sorry,
That's
didn't
all right,
want to do this, but he is well now. But that brings it home when you think, oh gosh, that's a child with cancer. Why isn't it me? But he's fine.
Thank
He's
goodness.
It's a reminder of the unpredictability of life and the preciousness of life.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I think it is certainly a privilege, and we're all enjoying life now to the best.
Yeah.
It is a gift, I agree.
So that would be your one parting bit of advice to anyone as they age?
As they age, try and keep fit, keep your mind active, and I don't know, keep in touch with your friends. Say yes to that cup of coffee if you can, and just keep fit and active. Don't feel guilty when you pick that book up and waste a couple of hours of housework time. Read a book.
Priorities, isn't it? Yeah, the housework can
that.
wait. Definitely can wait. That's one thing I imagine in palliative care. No one would have said to you, I wish I'd got more sweeping done.
Yes, more cleaning done.
No, try and not have regrets, I guess, in life. Live life without too many regrets.